Welcome everyone to our YouTube video for today. We're the Dimitrov-Boulay piano duo. My name is Dimitri Dimitrov.
And my name is Elvira Boulay.
And today we're going to practice the Schubert Military March. I want to do it once more because when I repeat the 16th notes, sometimes I try to make them really clear, but sometimes they get a little bit more blurry, and I want to avoid that. And the difficulty here is because these 16th notes are actually in piano, they're very soft, and I have to really not overshadow Elvira because she has a very... What do you play in bar 7? Yeah. So you can hear that actually this is quite light and gentle. It sounds very thin in a way, and so I have something much more thicker, and yet I have to be an accompaniment. I have to be something that's softer, and I have to not overshadow. So that's what we have to work on. Can we do it once more? And I try to practice those 16 notes to be a little bit softer.
For me, in bar 7, it's written piano, but I already actually play a lot louder than piano because I know otherwise I won't be heard. Exactly what Dimitar says, it's very thinly written. So I already play something like mezzo forte, so that should help.
Yeah, let's do it 3 bars before 7 so we can connect it and see what happens. And here probably it's better in 13 with pedal, right? What do you have in 13? Yeah, because I did it without, for me that fits. But for you... Actually that fits also without
I liked
pedal.
it without pedal.
Yeah.
I was wondering, should I play those long or not?
Yeah, that's interesting because if you play them long, it sounds a little bit more on the heavy side, more kind of that you sustain something, and if you play them short, it sounds more forward going in a way.
Okay.
So let's do 2 versions. Let's play it once with long and let's play it once with short, and then after that we will do 2 versions of the pedal. Okay. So I would just do it for once without pedal. I'm doing it without pedal now, so we can hear Elvira's long notes. Can you show them like the quarter notes? So we want to determine if we want to have long quarter notes or short quarter notes. And so in this case, I should not do pedal because usually when you do things with pedal, you can't hear, of course, if you want to do a quarter note shorter or longer. And so I'm going to do it without. Let's see how that sounds, and after we resolve that, we can decide further if we want to add any pedal. Shall we take it from bar 11, and then we see what we do with your plays? What actually are you going to do first, long or short?
I'm going to do short first.
First short, okay. Okay, let's do it now once long. I like maybe a little bit the shorter one. What do you like more?
Well, I think sometimes for me it's difficult to hear what I really like,
that's normal.
as opposed to what I'm imagining in my head, because it's a lot to listen to while you're playing. So I think I'll just record it and decide later what I like the best. But what I like about long is that it supports kind of the lyrical.
That's also true.
And because until now we had a pretty jumpy kind of melody. And I like maybe to emphasize this lyrical moment. But from the other side, when I played it short, I actually really like the energy. So that's very difficult, but maybe I can listen to it and later decide, or maybe on the concert I can decide at that moment what to do.
Yeah, but what you're actually saying is a good point for those of you who are practicing and beginners and maybe even intermediate, to know that when you are playing, it's a totally different story than if you listen from a side. So when you're listening now to this and watching this video and listening, you will hear immediately and you'll have a preference, a strong preference. Let's say, do you like, or do you like? But when you're playing, it's a totally different story. So you have to practice, you have to hear it several times, and even then it's not enough. It needs sometimes days and weeks until you actually make up your mind and really consciously hear while you're playing what sounds better and what's your preference. So that was a very good point. Maybe I had the feeling that we can do that very bar, just number 13, 2 different times, right? Once do it once short and do it once long, so I can actually also hear. Can we try? The first time short and the second time long. Let's do it once more short. And one last time short. And now let's do it long. Yeah, I actually agree with you. I like both. I like both. You can make actually. Generally, you can interpret things in so many different ways. As long as you have the skills and you know how to do it, you can interpret it and play it in different ways.
Maybe we can agree to do it without pedal so that I can improvise on the spot during
absolutely.
a concert.
I think I actually prefer also without pedal. Sometimes I like to do something. For example, I'm almost sure that I like to play this without pedal, but sometimes, not sometimes, actually very often I would do it with pedal once just to rule it out completely, just to be sure that I definitely don't want to do pedal there. And then you go to the next step, like we discussed. We're going to decide what Elvira is going to do, long notes or short notes. Now you play the way you want. I just focused on I want to do it once with pedal and once without pedal. And now with pedal. No, absolutely, I like it. And you know why? Because if you look from bar 7, show them what you have. You have pedal, 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 no pedal. And that makes it so interesting because you have constantly something you have one and the same pattern. Pedal, 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 pedal. And suddenly it changes the whole, it doesn't change the atmosphere of the piece, but it changes the whole phrase, the whole way everything is going. It's unpredictable suddenly. It gives it lightness, so that's decided. I'm playing this without pedal. You only take your time, you practice this several times, and you make up also your mind if you like them short or longer. And let's not rush into the 8 notes in bar 16. Okay. Because we had this 16th note, we had... So let's not rush those. Because that changes the pattern. We have... Let's not lose the march kind of feeling. Okay. Shall we do it once more? Yeah, and you phrase really wonderfully in bar 18 when you go back but if you go too soft, we're in forte. Okay. And if you go too soft into piano, you disappear. Yeah. Can you do that phrase? Maybe start from... Yeah, let's start from the forte. And I want you, when you're finishing your phrase, to keep it still in this strong character. Because we had this gentle phrase in the beginning. And then after that, we have this very different kind of atmosphere. And when you end that place in bar 18, don't lose that character. Don't go back into the character of the first few bars that we played in the beginning of the piece. Okay. Yeah, it's nice.
I'll try it again.
Yeah, I like it very much. I like it very much. What are you not satisfied with?
No, I actually think it's something that whenever you try a new idea, especially if it's somebody else's idea or maybe your teacher's idea, it might feel very strange in the beginning because it's not part of you yet. You're not really feeling it yet. But I think that's why you'd need to practice it a bit. So this is something that I would take aside when I'm practicing by myself, and I would practice it until it feels very natural for me.
Yeah, that's probably the same as the previous thing that we just talked about. It's kind of the same. You just need time in general to not only to decide. In this case, you don't decide, of course, because this is really appropriate for the character,
Yeah.
right? But in order to absorb it and understand it and so on, everything takes time. Everything takes time. As passages to improve, ideas also take time in order to become to ripen. Shall we do it one more time? And this time let's not repeat, but let's just continue further and see what happens.
Yeah.
The second ending. Who's going to turn?
You were going to turn, you said.
Oh, okay. I'm going to turn. For example, we haven't played this piece in a while. Now we are starting to practice it, and I've actually forgot who is going to turn. And usually I remember now when you asked me, when I asked you who is going to turn, that I'm the one who actually has to turn here. That also has to be decided. If you're playing 4 hands, decide in advance who is going to turn. So that's very important. Let's do it once more from the forte, and I'm going to turn there.
It's actually unusual that we forget it because we usually write it down exactly for this reason.
Yeah, now in the score, I don't know if you can see from the upper camera, but it's not written. We usually write turn on the page of the person who is playing, like on the side of the person who has to turn. But in this case, we haven't written anything down, and then you forget. And of course, if you know the piece very well, you will react and you will be able to turn, but do things very clearly, because then it's very easy to play. Let's do it from the forte one more time, and we just continue, and I'll turn.
I'm sorry, I missed my 16.
This will be our video for today. I hope that you enjoyed the things we shared with you. For us, it was a great pleasure to record the video. Make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel for more videos, which come every Sunday. For us, it was a pleasure, and see you next time.